during the caretaker government, you were quite active and you worked hard in removing Pakistan from this restriction, from this ban, which was imposed by United Kingdom almost 5 years ago. What are these safety procedures and protocols which Pakistan is meeting now?
Last thing that happened was the May 2020 A320 crash in Karachi of Pakistan International Airlines. After 1 month of that crash, the PIA got banned for flights into Europe. The biggest stakeholder is 1.6 million Pakistanis in UK, who will now get a chance to travel directly to Pakistan. So therefore, it is overall a big day for Pakistan.
What needs to be done on the Pakistani end?
PIA never had enough cash to spend on engine improvements, aircraft improvements, and other safety measures that were necessary to take. We had proposed to the government that the debt needs to be put on side, make a holding company where the debts are parked so that PIA gets cleaned operationally. PIA has now started showing progress in all fields because of the available revenue that they generate every month.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Hello and welcome to program Insight in V News English. Dear viewers, the biggest and the very good news for Pakistan that United Kingdom has finally lifted ban on Pakistani flights to United Kingdom. Almost 5 years ago, a ban was imposed by the British government, by British Air Safety Committee of United Kingdom Civil Aviation Authority, on the grounds that allegedly Pakistan was not meeting the safety standards. After number of visits to Pakistan, after number of meetings with Pakistani Civil Aviation Authority officials in Pakistan, after conducting several visits to Karachi Airport, Lahore and Islamabad, today the British Air Safety Committee of Civil Aviation Authority finally announced that Pakistan has been removed from the grey list of the safety committee. So this means a lot to Pakistan. And after this decision, Pakistani different airlines have been asked to apply on a Pakistan-Britain route. So Pakistani airlines have started immediately a documentation process. What happened exactly 5 years ago? And what are basically these safety standards or safety procedures that have been declared now perfect as far as Pakistan is concerned by the British Civil Aviation Authority? To discuss this all, we are fortunate to have with us former aviation advisor to the Prime Minister of Pakistan, Air Marshal retired Farhat Hussain Khan. Air Marshal Farhat Hussain Khan, sir, very warm welcome to program Insight in V News English.
Thank you very much, Mateen Saab. Thanks for taking me on.
Hey, Marshal Farhat Saab, you have been aviation advisor. You have watched this all very closely. And if I'm not wrong, directly, indirectly, you have also been engaged in these discussions. At that time, during the caretaker government, you were quite active and you worked hard in removing Pakistan from this restriction, from this ban, which was imposed by United Kingdom almost 5 years ago. So there is a technical word, and that is called safety procedures or safety protocols, which now are being met by Pakistan. How you see this development, and what are these safety procedures and protocols which Pakistan is meeting now?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Tariq Saab, first of all, let me congratulate you and the Pakistani nation overall for this success that we have achieved today. As you know, like anything else, aviation department overall, the culture of aviation is overall a culture which counts for behaviors, which counts for maintenance, which counts for management, and which counts for safety of the aviation overall. That means the regulatory body, which is Civil Aviation Authority, their rules and procedures, the airlines that fly, the airports that maintain. So all the entire infrastructure makes it a safety culture. So the entire structure has to be good for us or any other country to have good aviation safety. So this is one. So what happened when we went into the bad patch? We had problems in the regulatory body in licensing issue. We had problems in the airline setups. We had multiple issues. And of course, it got added with the COVID-19. The aviation was going down anyway otherwise. So all this combined, when last thing that happened was the May 2020 A320 crash in Karachi of Pakistan International Airlines. When that happened, before that, a lot of things were happening in terms of
that crash was monitored and it was observed very closely.
That, of course, was observed, and after 1 month of that crash, the PIA got banned for flights into Europe and UK both. When Europe does it, the UK follows it. So that is how it happened in that. So it has been 5 years, almost 5 years now.
Exactly.
And if we talk of today, what has happened today, it's a big day for PIA for 2-3 reasons. One, it is already in the market for bidding for privatization. So it will have positive impact on the PIA's bidding process, inshallah. One. Then it is good for Civil Aviation Authority. It gets recognized that Civil Aviation Authority as a regulatory body is putting in its best to ensure safety of the aviation culture. Then, of course, third biggest stakeholder is 1.6 million Pakistanis in UK, who will now get a chance to travel directly to Pakistan. So therefore, it is overall a big day for Pakistan. This is about the aviation. I think the PIA, if I understand correctly, within 15 to 20 days or maybe 2 to 3 weeks, will start to fly to Manchester. I had a word with management of the PIA. The London flights will take a little time because the routes are already on lease to one of the airlines.
And this one you're talking about Manchester route.
Yeah, Manchester route will start in 2 to 3 weeks from now. So Manchester route, the PIA plans to start in 2 to 3 weeks' time, middle of August, plus minus something. And the Heathrow will take a little while because that slot had been is with Turkish Airline on a certain arrangement with PIA. So it takes some time to get that slot back. It'll take about 2 months or so, maybe. That is one. Secondly, today what we're talking is listing of the safety list. We are out of the list. We yet have to apply to the Civil Aviation of UK to start flights, although that's a formality.
That is a formality. You're talking about we have been removed from the list of
This means basically your airport safety has been inspected by them. They feel satisfied.
Physically it has been inspected.
Physically, they carried out this audit from 8th to, I think, 10th of this month at Islamabad Airport.
8th to 10th of July. That has been done. So, Marshal Farhat Saab, usually Pakistani Airlines, you have seen there have been a lot of mishaps. You talked about this 2023 Karachi air crash of PIA flight. That too was a mistake of the pilot. And of course, sometime we have seen also reports while a particular door of the PIA flight could not be properly locked. Sometime this weight standards are not met, and the luggages which are put into the airline, right? So that also violates. So generally, I would like to say, since now it took 5 years for Pakistani Airlines to resume flights to United Kingdom. Previously, it was PIA. Later on, private airliner, Air Blue, have been flying to Manchester. So, what you will say and your analysis that what needs to be done on the Pakistani end? So that please share that what needs to be done.
Okay.
There should be zero tolerance for any protocol, any safety violations.
Absolutely. Let me just take you back to the time frame that you just mentioned in 2023 and what all happened. What have they done will explain what is need to be done further. Over the last 5 years, a number of steps have been taken. First of all, Pakistan's Civil Aviation Authority, which was responsible for taking examination and issuing the licenses to the pilot, was sublet to UK. So the
This is a big
UK
disclosure that this one was sublet to a British company.
British company, UK Civil Aviation, they used to take all the tests. In fact, I attended one of the tests as when I was the advisor to the Prime Minister. It was initially in Karachi, then Islamabad, and then of course probably Lahore. So the tests were centrally online monitored by the UK authorities as far as the licensing authorities concerned. So it was a big change for our cultural. You know what the examination culture in this Pakistan Civil Aviation was different. Now this was a very strict culture. So this improved the requirement standard of licensing. This is one. Secondly, if you recall, I think we talked sometimes back on the issue, PIA had a lot of financial difficulties. Financial difficulties means if I'm remember the figures correctly, half of its monthly revenue used to go into the loan servicing, debt servicing. So almost half the revenue of PIA used to go to debt servicing. So what does it mean? PIA never had enough cash to spend on engine improvements, aircraft improvements, and other safety measures that were necessary to take. So the big
That is
difference
called technical maintenance.
Yeah. So what happens when the last year when the PIA privatization started? In fact, it started in 23. When it started, if you recall, we had proposed to the government that the debt needs to be put on side, make a holding company where the debts are parked so that PIA gets cleaned operationally. So when that happened last year, so PIA started getting enough revenue to improve its condition.
That was
so they
separated.
almost got
Exactly.
about 10 billion rupees per month saving, which was earlier going into debt servicing. So with that, PIA has improved number of aircraft available. PIA has improved the engine availability. PIA has improved the aircraft serviceability, and so on and so forth. So this is a process. If you recall, we were saying at that time also, so PIA has now started showing progress in all fields because of the available revenue that they generate every month. So their future prospects are much better than what it was earlier. So what do we need to do? We need to continue to work to ensure actually, having money in the wallet as far as the human being, it is same with the airline. When they have money, they can spend on improvement. If they don't have money, they will not
improvement, everything.
Improvements. So it's an impression that is taken by the passengers. The engines have to perform. The airlines, the aviation authorities have to charge money, landing charges, and all that. So it all means the financial status, since it is improved, it started improving the airline. This is one major factor that I can see.
So that you all talked about flights and airlines and these all things. So what safety measures need to be checked on ground as far as terminals are concerned, as far as runways are concerned, and these on the ground? What are the safety measures? These you have talked about engine maintenance and flight standards and these all things. So what British Safety Committee has seen on ground in major airports, Karachi, Lahore, and Islamabad, from where flights used to fly to United Kingdom, that they
Okay.
got satisfaction.
Okay. Now the airfield safety is
Mm.
different than the airline safety, although they are interlinked. But what has the airfield safety to do? Uh, when they carry out a check, every airline that flies into Pakistan onto a particular airfield, they have the right to do the inspection of that host airfield in terms of
Mm.
what? In terms of launch, in terms of receiving aircraft, how is it launched, how much time does it take, what is the state of the airfield, what are the security measures to ensure safety of the aircraft, safety of the crew, and safety of the passengers, and the efficiency. So all this is a big checklist that they have. It is they carry out in that inspection. They have carried out that inspection. You can call it audit. They have now cleared the airports safe for their airlines. That means
Mm.
our airlines will also be safe. They ensure they've seen it that our procedures at the airport, conditions of the airport, conditions of the apron are safe enough to fly. So therefore, when the airline takes off from here, it is safe to go to UK.
What is the rough estimate, A. Marshal Farhat Saab, over last 5 years? A rough estimate, how much could have been losses that PIA suffered due to closure of its flights to Germany, to France, to United Kingdom, to Spain, and to several other European, including Italy, although flights to France has been resumed. But given rough estimate of the losses that this our national airline has suffered.
Okay, Tariq Sab, let me first tell you what are the
Mateen
major
has.
revenue. Mateen has, sorry, major revenue routes.
Yes.
Of course, PIA has Kuala Lumpur. They fly 777. It is normally 90% plus seats. So
Mm-hmm.
during this bad patch, also the route was always active. Similarly, they have a good route for Canada. However, and Saudi Arabia is also a good destination. But the Europe, France, and UK are probably bigger than the rest. If I understand the old figures, I think France, the Paris flights alone annually give revenue of about 40 billion rupees per year to PIA.
Mm.
And UK is much bigger than that because there are 1.6 million Pakistanis.
Huge
in
diaspora.
Huge diaspora. So the UK routes get about 70 billion rupees per year revenue for PIA. So now you can imagine for 5 years how much have we lost. So
Billions of
5 years,
rupees.
this is billions of rupees. That's the loss that we've had. And of course, above all, it is the reputation loss that we had.
Exactly. That is
Our
most important.
aviation culture was, not liked by people. You see, some of the airlines have stopped flying to Pakistan. Like Virgin was used to fly from London.
British
They
Airways
stopped flying.
started its direct route. Virgin
Yeah,
Atlantic started, and they made
yeah,
significant profit.
yeah. So it has been a big loss, but nevertheless, we are today happy, and I hope the revenue generation continues and PIA gets even better condition financially as well as technically and operationally.
So, Air Marshal Saab, safety of aircraft and particularly safety of aircraft that largely depends upon flying crew, particularly the pilots. And it is not secret. Many times you might have read in the newspapers, PIA flight lands at London airport, pilots taken into the custody. They were intoxicated. They were possessing certain things. So, and when there are checks and balances on pilots of PIA, they go on strike. They are not ready to listen to safety checks, or they are not ready to comply with the safety standards. Why it is so? Sometimes they are caught intoxicated.
Actually,
Sometimes they are caught carrying certain objectionable items. Why it is so?
actually, like I said, there is always a culture behind everything. value system is what matters. So when you talk of these things, these are not really airline issues alone. The smuggling or bad habits amongst the people, whether it is air crew or ground crew or some other, do exist in most of the organizations. So this is what the overall culture has to take care of this. Yes, one can say 5 to 10% slippage, but then basically it is the regulatory body which has to ensure that the airline meets all these standards. So there is whenever something happens, there is always slackness one way or the other, either in the airline or in the regulatory body. So when you talk of the pilots, actually, so the points that you highlight, other than that affects the safety are very critical. That is the responsibility of Airworthiness Department of Civil Aviation to ensure that the pilots fly safely. That means they should have taken adequate rest. They should be well familiar with their procedures, and they should they should be prepared for all the flights. So all this matters towards the end of the day. It contributes towards the air safety. Even the conduct of ground crew matters. When some, in the aircraft is seen off from the runway, is the runway clean? Is the apron clean? Or it is, it's something very small that can cause serious safety hazards. Birds around the airfield.
Sometime a dog.
Clinical.
Sometime a dog on an airfield.
Dog.
Exactly.
So it is the overall safety culture that has to improve for us to go forward. And then we are going forward, I believe so.
So now, as you said, that flights to Manchester are expected to resume 2 to 3 weeks, and London may take some time. But what is your assessment that since the flights will be resumed to Manchester, to London, there will be good traffic between Pakistan and United Kingdom? How much now in 2025 PIA is expected to earn from Islamabad, United Kingdom route? What is the rough estimate? How much income? That figure you gave us, it might be little old, but what is the expected profit now?
Actually, profit, it's difficult for me to say how much of profit. It is the revenue what we can talk about. Profit would mean how much is the expense, how much are they paying for the landing charges, how much are they paying for
fuel, I mean exactly the revenue, exactly.
So revenue generation is, actually, it is going to be a big injection to PIA, booster as far as this is concerned. And I think if you look at it after 10 days, if the Manchester flight should already be booked, because you see, from London coming to Islamabad or destination Pakistan directly is a big change for the passengers.
Without wastage of 3, 4, 5 hours, either in Turkey or in Doha or in Dubai, exactly.
And then when you stay there for a few hours, you spend money also. The cost also. Ticket cost is also important. So therefore, people are going to be really happy. And I think if the PIA picks up momentum to Manchester within August, they should be very happy to get. And then, and at the end of the day, in the airline business, longer the haul, more is the revenue. So short-legged aircraft give you less profit or less revenue as compared to long-haul aircraft, because
you mean a narrow-body aircraft would not be fit?
No. They will be fit, but they have less passengers. They have less passengers on board. So I'll give you some old figures. A 777, in my view, gets a revenue of about double than the 320 per flight.
Airbus.
Like for instance, per month revenue of a 320, which carries about 170 plus or some plus minus passengers, monthly earns you about 800 million rupees in revenue. On the other hand, 777, because of longish flight, it earns about it doubles the revenue.
Double than 800. That could be 1600.
Yeah. So 1.6 billion. basic large expenditure is in the takeoff phase of the flight, because the airline, when it takes off, consumes more fuel till it levels off at 36, 37,000 feet. Then the fuel consumption is less than half of what you are doing at takeoff. So therefore, longer haul aircraft get you more business, means more revenue. So these flights, Manchester and London, are both long haul.
Hey, Marshal, Farhat Saab, you have been aviation advisor and you have worked on many proposals. You have attended a lot of meetings chaired by Prime Minister of that time. On a number of times, it has been said that let's make efforts to make Pakistan an aviation hub. And as a former Air Force senior most officer, you had an extensive traveling even after retirement. You have seen some of the countries smaller in South Asia. They have become aviation hubs. There is a number of flights from world over operates to such countries. There is tourism. There is aviation hub. Why we couldn't make it possible in Pakistan?
Mateen, actually, just to support your point, let me give you once again, my figures are not latest. Are in our neighborhood alone, UAE makes 6.2 or 6.3% of its GDP from aviation. Qatar makes equal almost. India makes about 5 point something. So is China. Ours is very limited. It has been less than one also, because our aviation is what we have. Few aircraft in PIA, which lingered for quite some time. Now it is taking off. Vis-a-vis the airlines. Airlines have hundreds of aircraft on their inventory. Our basic infrastructure of aviation is weak. Our basic infrastructure, our training system, our flying system of the flying clubs, our pilots' education, our engine, everything needs attention. It is major responsibility of the aviation sector that to have a user-friendly aviation policy. Our policies in the aviation sector are not user-friendly. No one wants to invest in Pakistan because the investment environment does not exist. So therefore, we have to look at our culture of inviting people to invest in Pakistan. That is one. So just look at Turkish Airline. Turkish Airline, when
one of the biggest in the region, exactly, makes billions of dollars from revenue.
Look at the policies. Look at the policies. When they pick up a passenger from Pakistan and take him to UK, if he is a business class,
and then to UK.
No. For UK also, because we have the route with arrangement with them. Earlier on, it was PIA used to go to Istanbul, and then onward it used to be Turkish. Now it is all the way Turkish going from Pakistan on a joint flight. It is PIA/TI. So Turkish. So they offer free visa, free stay if you are a business class for 2 days in Istanbul, or if you are economy class, 1 day in Istanbul. And that is where they spend, people go there, spend money, and the economy
promoting tourism, getting investment, exactly.
So that is how you earn dollars. Same is the case with our brothers and friends in the Middle East. Secondly, इसके अलावा this business is very competitive. इसमें margin of profits इतने ज़्यादा नहीं है. It's not much. It is always less than 10%, because the competition is very heavy. So you got to be at your best. Now, for instance, come to Pakistan, our south traffic of Karachi, 92% of the international traffic is not with our own airlines.
These are all
Because
foreign airlines.
they're all foreign, Middle Eastern airline, because the condition of the aircraft is good, the flight schedule is good, the connectivity is better world over. So people, our own people, want to travel through airline which offers them best. So therefore, we have to create an investor-friendly environment. Airlines must be looked after. Governments have to make user-friendly policies. Unfortunately, our aviation policies need a lot of improvement.
So when last time this aviation policy was announced, and as you said, this aviation policy needs improvement.
Last, to my knowledge, first policy was probably made in 2015. I also made some contribution in that. Then the next policy was in 2019. I wrote a chapter. I also had a chapter in that on the aircraft manufacturing. And what is that we need to do as a government to provide facilities to private sector in the aircraft manufacturing. Unfortunately, that never got implemented, and the next policy that came in 2023, the aircraft manufacturing chapter was deleted. So our private sector aircraft manufacturing, it's virtually non-existent. So where the foundation of the aviation is weak, our training is weak, our private sector in aviation industry is virtually non-existent in terms of manufacturing and design development. Because I'll give you one example. China promotes aviation so much that there are airfields in China, which are, of course, not in the main cities, where the airlines landing are given money by the state. Thank you very much for coming here.
Airline landing money is given by the state.
Thank you very much for coming here. Thank you very much for coming here. So business, actually, it has to be a corporate culture. Whatever makes aviation industry grow, the policies have to be made accordingly so that the private sector can invest. It is not possible for the government to continue to invest in these businesses. It's not government's job to run corporations. It is not government's job to run airlines. It is not government's job to run industries. These better be done by private sector. The engine of growth world over is the private sector, not the public sector. So we need to encourage private sector to get more into this field and demand higher standards from them through regulatory bodies.
Lastly, I would like to seek your comment now. After the flights are resuming to Europe and expected very shortly to United Kingdom, what is the future of privatization of Pakistan International Airline? So we are hearing that initially some companies are being shortlisted, and these companies might be some consortium, some group of companies, something like that. So what is the future of PIA? As you have said that over the last many months, it is earning profit. Despite that, government will go ahead for its privatization?
Actually, government is willing to do it, and they have go ahead. They probably committed to IMF, so they're going to start the procedure. The recent procedure they've already started. There were 5 candidates who had come into the bidding. Out of those 5, 4 have been shortlisted and been given the provided details for. Now they have to be given all details by PIA in terms of the fleet, in terms of their revenue, in terms of balance sheet, so that they can do their evaluation themselves and then bid for it. I hope one of them gets gives a good bid and PIA can be privatized, because now is the time for it to privatize. It is in good shape at this time to get good money. Unfortunately, the process has been going up and down. If you recall, in 23, the process started. I was also there. The process had flawed. We wanted to do it as soon as possible. Obviously, airline it takes time. So therefore, the process went into problems. But last year, if you recall, when the bids were open, the max bid somebody gave us 10 billion, which was ridiculous to say the least. But at this time, PIA is running into profit. The fleet size is reasonable. The conditions are reasonable. Their punctuality has improved, like I said, because they have money. They can buy fuel on time. They can pay to the regulatory bodies. So they are in, PIA is in good shape. This time, I think they should be able to successfully privatize.
Thank you so much indeed, Air Marshal retired Farhat Hussain Khan, former aviation advisor to the Prime Minister of Pakistan, Governor of Pakistan, for sparing your time, and you participated in our program and gave an excellent analysis on the aviation sector in Pakistan and the big news that was that United Kingdom finally removed Pakistan from its air safety list and permitted Pakistani Airlines to resume flights to United Kingdom. And the big news that you shared with us that flights from Pakistan to Manchester are expected to resume within 2 to 3 weeks. And flights to London may take little time. Thank you so much once again. And dear viewers, till our next program, goodbye and Khuda Hafiz.